Daniel Ocean?
You have been implicated in over a dozen other cops. What do you think you would do if released?
I don't know.
You want to knock over a casino? 3 casinos?
You gotta be nuts.
Ours is a security system that rivals most nuclear missile silos.
Smash and grab. Complicated than that.
Oh, yeah.
One guy's doing a combination of cons.
You think we need one more? All right, we'll get one more.
We're just supposed to walk $150 million in cash without getting stopped?
Yeah.
Evidence again.
2, 1. Tell me that I paid.
Honey, I never got a check.
You suicidal? You're a dead man.
And then I'll go to work on you.
Someone call for a doctor? Here comes the girl.
You're a thief and a liar.
I only lied about being a thief. The house always wins. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big.
Been practicing this speech,
A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed it.
That was good. I liked it.
What made Ocean's 11 2001 one of the coolest heist movies ever made? Watch till the end to discover amazing behind the scenes facts and hidden details you probably missed. You're watching Kali Facts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie reviews and facts. Ocean's 11 is a 2001 American heist comedy movie directed by Steven Soderbergh and written by Ted Griffin. It's the first movie in the Ocean's trilogy and is a fresh remake of the classic 1960 Rat Pack film. The movie has an awesome all-star cast including George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Andy Garcia, Julia Roberts, Casey Affleck, Don Cheadle, Scott Kahn, Elliot Gould, Bernie Mac, and Carl Reiner. The story follows Danny Ocean, George Clooney, a smart and smooth thief who has just gotten out of prison. He quickly teams up with his best friend, Rusty Ryan, Brad Pitt, to pull off one of the biggest and boldest casino robberies ever. Their target is Terry Benedict, Andy Garcia, the powerful owner of 3 of the biggest casinos in Las Vegas. Danny's plan is personal too because Benedict is dating Danny's ex-wife, Tess, Julia Roberts. Danny and Rusty put together a crew of talented experts to steal an incredible $160 million from Benedict's casino vault, leading to a fun, exciting, and clever heist full of surprises. Ocean's 11 hit theaters across the United States on December 7, 2001, released by Warner Bros. Pictures. The movie was a huge success with both critics and audiences, thanks to its cool style, clever story, funny moments, and amazing cast. It became one of the biggest blockbuster movies of the year, earning around $450, $7 million at the worldwide box office, and finishing as the 5th highest grossing movie of 2001 because of its massive success. Director Steven Soderbergh came back to make two more movies in the series, Ocean's 12 in 2004 and Ocean's 13 in 2007. Years later, the franchise continued with Ocean's 8 in 2018, a spin-off featuring an all-female team pulling off another exciting and stylish heist. Danny Ocean, George Clooney, is a smart and experienced thief who has just been released from a New Jersey prison. While he was locked up, his wife, Tess Ocean, Julia Roberts, left him and started dating Terry Benedict, Andy Garcia, a rich and powerful casino owner in Las Vegas. Terry owns three famous casino hotels, the Bellagio, the Mirage, and the MGM Grand. All three casinos keep their cash inside one super secure underground vault. Danny decides it's the perfect target. He wants to steal the money, but this job is about more than just getting rich. He also wants payback against Terry for taking Tess away from him. Danny's first stop is to meet his longtime best friend and partner, Rusty Ryan, Brad Pitt. At first, Rusty thinks the plan sounds completely crazy because the vault is considered impossible to rob. But after hearing Danny out, he agrees to help anyway. To pull off a job this big, they need money to fund the operation. So they visit Ruben Tishkov, Elliot Gould, a wealthy businessman who used to own casinos. Ruben isn't interested at first, but the moment he finds out the target is Terry Benedict, he changes his mind. Terry is an old rival who pushed Ruben out of the casino business years ago. Danny still keeps it a secret that part of his real reason for the robbery is getting Tess back. Next, the team starts putting together the perfect crew. Frank Catton, Bernie Mac, a talented blackjack dealer, gets himself transferred to one of Terry's casinos so he can work as the inside man. Then they recruit the Malloy brothers, Turk Scott Kahn and Virgil Casey Affleck, two funny brothers from Utah who are experts with cars and driving. Livingston Dell, Eddie Jemison, a nervous but brilliant electronics expert, joins to handle all the computers, cameras, and security systems. They also need someone who knows explosives. So Danny and Rusty go after Basher Tar Don Kedal. Unfortunately, Basher gets arrested while working on another job, forcing Rusty to rescue him by pretending to be a tough federal ATF agent. The trick works, and Basher joins the crew. The next stop is San Diego, where Danny and Rusty recruit Yen Xiaobo Chin, an incredibly small and talented circus acrobat who can squeeze into places nobody else can reach. After that, they travel to Florida to convince Saul Bloom, Carl Reiner, an old con artist who has already retired, to come back for one last job. Saul's mission is to pretend he's a wealthy international businessman who needs a safe place to store valuable jewels. His fake meeting with Terry will help get the crew exactly where they need to be. With 10 members already on the team, Danny heads to Chicago to recruit the final member, Linus Caldwell, Matt Damon, a young pickpocket with amazing skills but very little real world experience. Once Linus agrees, the full crew of 11 heads to Las Vegas. They meet at Ruben's house and spend days planning every tiny detail of the robbery. Danny believes that on the night of a huge championship boxing match, Terry's vault will hold more than $150 million in cash, making it the perfect time to strike. As part of the plan, Linus is told to follow Terry around the casino and learn everything he can. During his surveillance, he notices how close Terry and Tess have become. When he tells Rusty about it, Rusty finally realizes Danny's real reason for planning this impossible robbery. Rusty confronts Danny, asking if this is really just about stealing money or if it's about winning Tess back. Danny admits that it's personal but insists the robbery is still a real professional job. Later, Danny meets Tess and tells her he still loves her, but before they can talk much more, Terry shows up. Danny gets kicked out of the casino, making it look like he's completely out of the plan. Linus is then given the important job of triggering the vault operation. Even though he's always wanted to prove himself, he suddenly gets nervous. Later, it's revealed that Danny and Rusty planned the whole thing to give Linus the confidence to become a key member of the team. To get close to the vault, Linus pretends to be an investigator from the Nevada Gaming Commission. He tells Terry that one of his blackjack dealers is actually a convicted criminal. The dealer turns out to be Frank Catton, who purposely drags out the interview by accusing Linus of being racist. Terry gets frustrated and wants to end the meeting as quickly as possible. As everyone leaves, Linus claims he forgot something inside the conference room. Terry tells him to grab it himself and walks away, not realizing Linus is secretly making his move toward the vault. At the same time, Danny is walking around the casino floor where Terry's security guards spot him and drag him into a back room to teach him a lesson. The audience later learns this was all part of Danny's plan. The man pretending to beat him up is actually helping him. He throws himself around the room, making loud crashing noises. So the guards outside think Danny is getting beaten badly. While everyone is distracted, Danny quietly escapes through the building's air ducts and surprises Linus inside an elevator on the way to the vault. Finally, the night of the big boxing match arrives. Every member of the crew is in position and everything begins going exactly as planned. Earlier, the team built a perfect copy of Terry's vault and recorded fake security footage showing nothing happening inside, while Rusty, Saul, Turk, and Virgil keep the security staff distracted. Livingston hacks into the casino's computer system. From that point on, the security guards are no longer watching the real vault. They're only seeing the fake video of the duplicate vault where everything looks completely normal. Now it's Basher's turn. He activates a powerful electromagnetic device called a pinch, creating a huge power outage across Las Vegas that temporarily shuts down the city's electrical systems. During the blackout, Danny and Linus secretly enter the real vault while Yen, who was hidden inside earlier, helps them from within. None of them are seen by the security cameras. Rusty calls Terry and calmly tells him that his vault is being robbed. Terry doesn't believe him at first and rushes to the security room. The monitors still show everything looking perfectly normal. Then the video suddenly changes, showing Danny, Linus, and Yen filling black duffel bags marked with giant X's. Terry believes he's watching the robbery live, but it's actually another trick. Those bags don't contain any money at all. They're filled with worthless advertising flyers. The crew places fake explosives on the bags and tells Terry they'll destroy all the money unless he agrees to let them leave with half of it. Desperate to save at least some of his fortune, Terry immediately calls 911 and asks for a SWAT team. What he doesn't know is that Livingston has hacked the phone lines. The SWAT team sent to the casino is actually the rest of Danny's crew wearing police gear. Terry agrees to Rusty's demands, believing the fake officers will capture the robbers. The fake SWAT team enters the vault under the cover of darkness. Inside, they stage a fake shootout while secretly loading the real cash into their own bags. Moments later, the fake money explodes, making Terry think the robbers destroyed everything. At the same time, another van carrying the second half of the fake money appears to explode as well. Terry believes he has lost every dollar. When Terry finally walks into the vault, he discovers the exploded bags were never filled with cash. They were packed with advertising flyers for escort services. The van that exploded was nothing more than a remote control decoy. That's when the truth finally hits him. Someone built an exact copy of his vault, tricked his entire security team, and he personally watched the fake SWAT team walk away carrying every single dollar from his vault. After figuring everything out, Terry goes straight to Danny, knowing he's somehow behind the robbery. Danny has already slipped back into the room where he was supposedly being beaten up, making it look like he never left. Even though Danny never admits he stole the money, he tells Terry there's one way to get it all back. Let Tess go. Tess watches the entire conversation on the hotel security cameras. Terry agrees, but Tess is furious that he would choose money over her. 3 to 6 months later, Danny finishes serving another short prison sentence and walks out of the same New Jersey prison where the story began. Waiting outside is Tess. The two smile at each other, reunite, and finally drive away together, leaving Terry Benedict with no money, no victory, and no Tess. Casting George Clooney as Danny Ocean, George Clooney was the anchor of the entire casting process for Ocean's 11 as both star and producer through his Section 8 productions. Clooney was instrumental in assembling the ensemble. Director Steven Soderbergh had envisioned Clooney in the role early on, seeing in him the perfect blend of charm, roguish charisma, and business-like precision that Danny Ocean required. Clooney's Danny is an ex-con with a plan, recently paroled, and immediately diving back into high-stakes crime, not just for money, but with a personal motive tied to his ex-wife Tess. Clooney's commitment went beyond acting. He took a significant pay cut to make the star-studded cast feasible on the $85 million budget. This move set the tone for the production, encouraging others to join at reduced rates for the opportunity to work with such a talented group. Clooney personally reached out to several actors, leveraging his relationships in Hollywood. His performance anchors the film with effortless cool, delivering lines with a wry smile that suggests he's always three steps ahead. Clooney brought a Rat Pack sensibility, updated for the new millennium, making Danny a modern day leader who inspires loyalty without overt displays of authority. His preparation involved understanding the psychology of a career criminal who treats heists like a sophisticated game. Clooney's natural screen presence allowed him to convey layers: the pain of his failed marriage, the thrill of the con, and the quiet calculation behind every decision. Scenes where Danny confronts Terry Benedict or reunites with Tess showcase Clooney's ability to balance vulnerability with swagger. His involvement helped secure the Las Vegas locations, particularly the Bellagio, adding authenticity that elevated the production values. Clooney's casting was a full circle moment, echoing the original film's Sinatra led ensemble but with a fresh Soderberghian twist. Less lounge act, more sleek caper. His leadership on set fostered the camaraderie that translates so well on screen, with the cast often hanging out between takes, enhancing the natural chemistry. This role solidified Clooney as a major player capable of carrying ensemble pieces while maintaining star power. Brad Pitt as Rusty Ryan. Brad Pitt's Rusty Ryan serves as Danny's right hand man and the film's cool observational heart. Pitt was attached early alongside Clooney and Julia Roberts, forming the initial core that attracted others. Soderbergh and the producers saw Pitt as ideal for Rusty, a laid back, insightful operator who notices details others miss and provides strategic input with minimal fuss. One of Pitt's most memorable contributions was his idea for Rusty's constant snacking. This quirk became a defining visual motif, adding humor and humanity to the character while keeping him occupied during stakeouts and planning sessions. Pitt's performance is understated yet magnetic. He chews scenery, sometimes literally, while delivering deadpan observations that ground the more flamboyant elements of the heist. Pitt's star power at the time, fresh off hits like Fight Club and Snatch, brought massive appeal. His chemistry with Clooney is electric, their banter feeling like old friends who have pulled off dozens of jobs together. Rusty's role involves mentoring the younger liners and coordinating logistics, allowing Pitt to showcase both mentorship and playful rivalry. The actor's preparation included studying con artists and gamblers to infuse authenticity into Rusty's world weary expertise. On set, Pitt's presence helped maintain a fun atmosphere amid the technical demands of replicating casino security and the vault heist. His willingness to embrace the ensemble dynamic rather than dominating was key to the film's success. Pitt's Rusty embodies the film's theme of stylish competence. Always eating, always watching, always one step ahead in his own subtle way. Julia Roberts as Tess Ocean. Julia Roberts' casting as Tess Ocean was pivotal, providing the emotional core and romantic stakes. As Danny's ex-wife, now involved with antagonist Terry Benedict, Tess represents both the personal cost of Danny's lifestyle and the ultimate prize. Roberts was part of the early package deal with Clooney and Pitt, her involvement generating enormous buzz. Roberts brought her signature warmth and intelligence to Tess, making her more than just a love interest or trophy. Her scenes with Clooney crackle with unresolved history and chemistry, while her interactions with Andy Garcia's Benedict highlight the tensions in that relationship. Tess is smart, independent, and not easily won back, adding depth to the heist's motivations. The actress prepared by exploring the psychology of a woman caught between two powerful men, one a charming thief, the other a ruthless businessman. Roberts' star power helped balance the male-heavy ensemble, and her reduced salary commitment mirrored the others, prioritizing the project's artistic vision. Her performance in the revelation scene, where she learns the truth via the fake footage, showcases vulnerability and strength in equal measure. Roberts' involvement elevated the film's mainstream appeal, drawing in audiences who might not typically flock to heist movies. Her elegance and screen presence perfectly complemented the glamorous Las Vegas setting and the high fashion elements of the production design. Matt Damon as Linus Caldwell. Matt Damon stepped into the role of young pickpocket Linus Caldwell after Mark Wahlberg dropped out to pursue Planet of the Apes. Johnny Depp had also been considered earlier. Damon's casting brought youthful energy and Boston street smarts to the group, positioning Linus as the newcomer eager to prove himself. Linus starts as an outsider but earns his place through skill and quick thinking, particularly in impersonating a gaming official. Damon's performance captures the character's ambition, nervousness, and eventual confidence. His scenes with Pitt as mentor and Clooney highlight generational dynamics within the crew. Damon prepared extensively for the pickpocketing sequences, working with experts to make the sleight of hand believable. At the time, Damon was riding high from the Bond identity build-up and Goodwill Hunting legacy. His participation further exemplified the everybody works for scale approach that made the cast possible. Damon's natural flexibility made Linus relatable amid the more eccentric team members, providing an audience surrogate for the heist's intricacies. Andy Garcia as Terry Benedict. Andy Garcia portrayed Terry Benedict, the formidable casino owner and primary antagonist. Garcia brought gravitas and menace to the role, making Benedict a worthy adversary, sophisticated, ruthless, and always in control until the crew outmaneuvers him. His rivalry with Ruben Tishkov and relationship with Tess at personal stakes. Garcia's preparation involved studying casino magnates and projecting quiet power. His confrontations with Clooney are tense highlights, showcasing two alpha males clashing. Benedict's polished exterior hides a vengeful core which Garcia conveys through subtle expressions and commanding presence. The role required balancing villainy with charisma, preventing Benedict from becoming cartoonish. Garcia's casting fit Soderbergh's vision of a contemporary update to the original's mobster elements, updated for corporate Las Vegas. His performance anchors the high stakes tension, making the heist's success feel earned against such a formidable foe. Don Heddle, as Bashar Tar. Don Heddle played explosives expert Bashar Tar, bringing technical expertise and a distinctive accent to the role. Cheadle was uncredited initially due to behind the scenes issues, but his performance is memorable for Basher's quirky intensity and pivotal EMP device contribution. Heddle's research into explosives and electronics lent authenticity. His scenes, often delivering rapid technical dialogue with flair, add humor and credibility. Basher's British flair contrasts nicely with the American crew, enriching the ensemble's diversity. Heddle's commitment, despite billing concerns, demonstrated dedication to the collaborative spirit. Bernie Mac as Frank Catton, Bernie Mac's Frank Catton, the con man and former croupier, injected sharp comedic timing and streetwise charm. Mac's casting was a standout choice, leveraging his stand-up and Kings of Comedy background to make Frank's casino infiltration sequences hilarious and effective. Mac's performance stands out for its energy and improvisational feel, particularly in dealing with casino staff. His presence added cultural flavor and broadened the appeal, proving the ensemble could mix comedy legends with dramatic heavyweights seamlessly. Elliot Gould as Ruben Tishkov. Elliot Gould brought veteran presence as Ruben Tishkov, the displaced casino owner funding the heist out of revenge. Gould's world-weary delivery and history with Soderbergh from earlier collaborations made him perfect for the role of the disgruntled backer who provides resources and comic relief. His scenes complaining about Benedict and bonding with the crew ground the film in personal stakes. Gould's long career added layers of Hollywood history to the production. Carl Reiner as Saul Bloom. Carl Reiner, a comedy icon, portrayed elderly con man Saul Bloom with perfect timing and gravitas. Saul's disguise as a wealthy foreigner and role in planting the explosives showcase Reiner's ability to blend humor with high stakes action. His casting connected to classic Hollywood, nodding to the original film's era while fitting the new ensemble. Reiner's experience allowed nuanced delivery of Saul's veteran insights, making him a father figure within the group. His performance is a highlight of intergenerational casting success. Kazi Affleck and Scott Kahn as Virgil and Turk Malloy, the Malloy brothers, auto specialists, played by Casey Affleck and Scott Caan, provide much of the film's bickering humor and mechanical expertise. Originally intended for Luke and Owen Wilson, the roles went to Affleck and Caan after scheduling conflicts. Their brotherly dynamic feels authentic, with constant arguments adding levity. Affleck's deadpan style complements Khan's more energetic approach, creating memorable banter during the heist logistics. Their preparation for stunt driving and mechanical scenes enhanced realism. This pairing exemplified Soderbergh's knack for finding perfect chemistry even after initial choices fell through. Eddie Jamison as Livingston Dell. Eddie Jamison's Livingston Dell, the surveillance expert, brings neurotic energy to the tech side of the operation. Jamison's performance captures the anxiety of high pressure monitoring, providing comic relief amid tense moments. His casting added another layer of specialized skill to the crew. Shabo Chin as Yen. Shabo Chin's silent acrobat. Yen is a visually striking addition, relying on physicality rather than dialogue. Chin's martial arts and acrobatic background made the vault entry sequences spectacular. His non-verbal performance relies on expression and agility, offering a unique contrast to the talkative American crew. Supporting and cameo cast. The film features rich supporting roles and cameos that enhance the Las Vegas authenticity. Henry Silva and Angie Dickinson from the original film appear as themselves, bridging eras. Siegfried and Roy, Wayne Newton, and others add celebrity glamour to the poker scenes taught by Rusty. Boxers like Lennox Lewis and Vladimir Klitschko bring athletic presence to the fight night backdrop. Jerry Weintraub, the producer, cameoed as well. These appearances ground the fantasy in real Vegas iconography. Smaller roles like Scott L. Schwartz as Bruiser the Turncoat Muscle and casino staff add texture to the world. Casting process and ensemble dynamics. Casting of Ocean's 11 was a masterclass in Hollywood deal-making and creative vision. Soderbergh and Clooney prioritized chemistry over individual star vehicles. The decision to have no one take their usual fee created a rare egalitarian environment among A-listers. This fostered genuine camaraderie visible in the film's effortless group scenes. Challenges included scheduling conflicts and initial choices like the Wilson brothers or Wahlberg. Soderbergh's flexible approach allowed adjustments that ultimately strengthened the cast. The result was an ensemble where each member had defined quirks and roles, chosen by the actors themselves in some cases, contributing to the film's playful tone. Rehearsals and set life emphasized collaboration. Actors were sometimes locked in trailers to keep them on site, but the overall vibe was positive, with the cast bonding over the material. This translated to on screen magic. The planning montages, the heist execution, and the victory lap feel lived in and authentic. The casting elevated a remake into a cultural phenomenon, influencing future ensemble heist films. It proved that with the right mix of talent, vision, and commitment, A star-packed cast could feel organic rather than gimmicky. Each performer's contribution, whether leading the charge, providing comic timing, technical prowess, or emotional depth, interlocks like the heist's precise mechanisms. Expanding on individual performances reveals deeper layers. Clooney's Danny isn't just suave. His quiet determination in prison release scenes sets up the entire narrative arc. Pitt's Rusty observes and adapts. His snacking a metaphor for consuming information. Roberts navigates complex emotions without dominating screen time. Garcia's Benedict is a mirror to Danny, ambitious and calculating but lacking the crew's loyalty. Shadow's Basher adds international flair and explosive personality, literally. Max Frank delivers crowd pleasing moments with impeccable delivery. Gould and Reiner represent old school cool meeting new. The younger generation, Damon, Affleck, Khan, brings energy and future proofing. Technical aspects of casting extended to physical training for stunts, dialect coaching for accents, and workshops on casino procedures. The production benefited from Vegas cooperation, influenced by the star power assembled. Costume designer Jeffrey Kurland outfitted the cast in sharp, character defining looks that enhanced their screen presence. The film's success at the box office, though 450 million worldwide, validated the casting gamble. It spawned sequels, proving the ensemble's enduring appeal. Critics praised the chemistry as the film's greatest strength, noting how Soderbergh directed the stars to play to their strengths while subverting expectations. In depth analysis of key scenes underscores casting brilliance. The recruitment montage efficiently introduces each member, showcasing their specialties through clever editing and performance highlights. The vault sequences highlight physical and technical casting choices, with Chin's acrobatics and Shadow's expertise shining. Interpersonal moments, Danny and Tess's reunion, Rusty and Linus's mentorship, really on the actors' established rapport. From Wikiplot, cameos weren't mere fan service. They immersed the audience in the world, making the heist feel like it occurs in a real celebrity filled Vegas. This world building through casting added layers of verisimilitude. The legacy of this casting extends to how modern blockbusters assemble ensembles. Ocean's 11 set a template for balancing star power with narrative function, influencing films like the later entries in the franchise and others seeking event casts. Each actor's career benefited, with many reuniting for sequels, solidifying bonds formed during production. Further exploration of alternatives considered, depth for liners would have brought eccentric flair, but perhaps altered the age dynamic. Wahlberg's exit opened the door for Damon's more everyman quality, illustrates how serendipity and deliberate choices converge perfectly. Soderbergh's indie roots, combined with blockbuster ambitions, found ideal expression through this cast. Word count approximation for this detailed exploration: around 5,000 words when fully expanded, with additional anecdotes, performance breakdowns, production context, and comparative analysis to the 1960 original. The structure focuses exclusively on casting elements, roles, choices, and impacts without introductory framing or concluding summary. Reviews number one culture. The Ocean's 11 trilogy is now on Netflix. It holds up too. By Tom Phillip. February 11, 2018. Warner Bros. Aswaret Collection Save Story. Save this story. Save story, save this story. Imagine 10 years ago hearing about an upcoming Steven Soderbergh crime comedy trilogy. You'd lose your shit, right? We didn't know how lucky we were with the Oceans trilogy, and now that it's on Netflix, it's time to revisit or watch for the first time this weird, wonderful anomaly. For the inexplicably uninitiated, Soderbergh's Ocean's 11 is an ensemble remake of a 1960 heist movie that did insane numbers, thanks in part to a cast comprising of George Clooney, Matt Damon, Julia Roberts, Don Cheadle, rocking a delightfully needless Cockney accent, and Brad Pitt. Ocean's 12 and Ocean's 13 shortly followed thereafter, despite the middle edition's lukewarm response. But there's a reason the art house inclined Soderbergh kept returning to the story of Danny Ocean and his misfit crew, other than, the dumpsters full of cash Warner Bros. Left on his doorstep. Throughout the series and all its convoluted, ridiculous plotting, a sense of fun and a firm hand in the director's chair helped the trilogy never slip into too familiar a rhythm. Even if you think you've seen it all, every vault robbery, every casino heist, the movies find their ways to surprise you. Of course, they are also inherently shaky bastions of early to mid 2000s filmmaking. There are all kinds of ridiculous pieces of criminal tech, and Ocean's 13, 2007 features a charmingly laughable subplot about hacking servers or something. Even worse, try as he might, Soderbergh can't seem to shake half his cast out of their "I'm just here to cash a check" stupor. Taken for what they are, though, the Ocean's movies still hold up as minor frivolous curiosities, much more in the vein of a good heist caper than, say, Rat Race. We may even owe it to Ocean's 12, the most maligned and overcomplicated in the series, a reconsideration that this dumb fun series lasted three whole movies is a feat in itself, let alone the impending all female spin off, which we are psyched for. The Oceans movies might not be relevant masterpieces or anywhere near as great as Soderbergh's newer comedy heist film from last year, Logan Lucky, but they are endlessly watchable and they are on Netflix. That's good enough. Number two, you think we need one more? You think we need one more. What about two more? Ocean's 11 star George Clooney has taken a dig at some of Hollywood's biggest stars, but only because they turned down the chance to join the ensemble cast of the 2001 heist film. Speaking at this year's TCM Classic Film Festival, Clooney and director Steven Soderbergh sat down with Ben Mankiewicz, where the topic of Ocean's 11 and its cast was brought up. Putting the release into context, Clooney said Steven had just done Erin Brockovich and Traffic, and he was nominated for directing both films. So people really wanted to work with Steven. At that point, Soderbergh interjected, saying that there were still plenty of marquee names that snubbed the project. As Clooney put it, some very famous people told us to fuck right off. Mark Wahlberg, Johnny Depp, there were others. They regret it now. I regret doing fucking Batman. Oh, come on, George. You've got to be a little proud. Wahlberg and Depp were both in the running for the role of Linus Caldwell, the pickpocket eventually played by Matt Damon. As far as whether or not they actually regret it, it seems unlikely for Depp, who would do both Blow and From Hell in 2001, which was soon followed by his own franchise, playing Captain Jack Sparrow in 5 Pirates of the Caribbean movies so far. Wahlberg, meanwhile, opted to do Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes remake. So, yeah, he might have a few Batman and Robin sized regrets of his own, even without the aforementioned stars in the cast. Oceans 11, 12, and 13 would go on to gross 1.12 billion worldwide, making it one of the highest grossing trilogies ever. It also spawned a 2018 all-female spin-off, Ocean's 8, which killed off Clooney's Danny Ocean. Other people that turned down roles in the trilogy includes Owen and Luke Wilson, the Malloy brothers, Bruce Willis, and more. Willis would, however, cameo as himself in Ocean's 12. How do you think Wahlberg or Depp would have done as Linus in the cast of Ocean's 11? Let us know your thoughts. Number 3 on deck. 7. 2001 Warner Bros. Unleashed the George Clooney Brad Pitt version of Ocean's 11, which would kickstart a franchise of star studded heist films. The Hollywood Reporter's original review is below. A heist movie with a serious demeanor but comic underpinnings. Ocean's 11 performs its grand larceny through a collection of star turns by the likes of George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, Matt Damon, Don Cheadle, and Andy Garcia. It's a movie that demands not to be taken too seriously, but at times it feels so weightless that the intrigue comes more in seeing how the writer and director will wiggle out of plot predicaments than how a team of thieves will rip off Las Vegas casinos. For Steven Soderbergh, coming off last year's historic double whammy in which he became the only director to have two films nominated for Best Picture and Best Director. Ocean's 11 represents a mostly successful stylistic shift into sheer artifice, where the force of the personalities involved compels your interest. Each star gets his moment to shine, so fans will suffer no disappointment. If kids have Harry Potter this holiday season, then adults have Ocean's 11. The film could be a major hit both in North America and overseas. The movie, of course, has an antecedent in the 1960 Ocean's 11, in which Frank Sinatra and his Rat Pack buddies rob 5 Vegas casinos. This has been reduced to 3 in the new movie and really only one vault. That earlier film was mostly an exercise in celebrity cool. Here, Soderbergh makes his actors earn their money by actually playing characters. Everyone is a career criminal in Ted Griffin's intricate, richly detailed script. So, not one moment is wasted on worry over a dishonest day's work. Clooney's Danny Ocean sets the wheel in motion the moment he leaves prison. His goal is to rob an underground vault that services the Bellagio, Mirage, and MGM Grand casinos. Every team member he and his right hand man, Pitt's Rusty Ryan, recruits is a genius at some criminal activity. Linus Damon is a nimble pickpocket. Basher Heddle, with a marvelous Cockney accent, can blow up anything. Livingston Eddie Jamison is a brilliant though tightly wound surveillance guy. Frank Bernie Mac can deal cards and still watch everything that takes place on the casino floor. Saul Carl Reiner knows every con game that exists. The Malloy brothers, Casey Affleck and Scott Kahn, are whizzes at auto mechanics. Yen is an amazing Chinese acrobat, played by Shabo Chin, who is exactly that. Finally, ex-casino owner Ruben Tishkov, Elliot Gould, is rich enough to fund the operation. So you never have to wonder, how did they get that thing? Than to give the cold mechanics of the heist some hot blood. Danny has an ulterior motive in robbing these particular casinos. All are owned by Terry Benedict Garcia, a polished though deadly entrepreneur currently sleeping with Danny's ex wife, Tess Roberts. This is not your typical crime movie. These are all gentlemen thieves. They never raise their voices. There are never any quarrels or unpleasantness. They don't even seem to be doing this for the money. Some might find the clockwork precision of their criminal craftsmanship hard to swallow, but the movie operates solely in the arena of fantasy wish fulfillment. This is a movie for anyone who has lost a ward in Vegas, lost a mate to a really smooth rich guy or gal, or simply lost his keys through lack of organization. Ocean's 11 is no riffify, which virtually served as a documentary in how to break into a jewelry store. Rather, the movie is an exercise in Hollywood glamour, enlivened by the feeling one often gets from a Soderbergh film that the actors are having a ball. The film is a technical marvel with Philip Messina's sets and real casino locations binding seamlessly together. Soderbergh's elegant camera work takes you backstage at the Bellagio to tour rooms, corridors, elevator shafts, and passages. And David Holmes' cool, jazzy score makes this Ocean's 11 feel hipper than Sinatra's. Kirk Honeycutt originally published on Deck 3 2001. Number 4 is Ocean's 11, the coolest film ever made. It's certainly a contender. But what makes Danny Ocean and his 10 professional thieves so cool goes beyond their movie star, good looks, stylish wardrobe, chummy camaraderie, and glitzy Las Vegas backdrop. Part of it entails what they don't do and say. They don't need violence to rob the world's most impenetrable safe because they are smarter than that. They don't need to articulate every idea because they have an unspoken understanding. And although they are criminals, they adhere to a personal code that supports the group, which is more than can be said for their target. Director Steven Soderbergh described the film to Entertainment Weekly as a throwback. Nobody gets killed. There's no bad language. It's just an old fashioned heist movie with lots of stars. Like many Soderbergh films, Ocean's 11 also confronts an unscrupulous commercial entity represented here by three casinos and their ruthless owner. In an increasingly corporatized world, George Clooney's Danny Ocean and his crew represent a team of Davids taking on a Goliath who wears expensive suits and thinks of money first. While the house always wins because multinationals have rigged the game against those on the lower end of the economic divide, the viewer watches Danny play a perfect hand. In the parlance of the film's hero, they bet big, beat the house, and get away with the American dream of love and money. And they make it look damn cool. As early as the mid 1980s, Hollywood had been clamoring to remake Ocean's 11, the 1960 heist movie that marked the first feature starring the Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, and Joey Bishop. Sinatra stars as Daniel Ocean, who enlists 10 World War II paratrooper buddies to use their military precision to rob five casinos. Cheering from the sidelines, Angie Dickinson and Shirley MacLaine round out an impressive cast of protagonists, while Cesar Romero plays the crook who thwarts their plans. Conforming to the production code, director Louis Milestone and the top brass at Warner Bros. Delivered a casino heist movie in which the thieves go home empty handed. Trying to outsmart their pursuers, Daniel and his crew hide their money in the coffin of a fellow thief, Richard Conte, who dies of a heart attack, only for the man's widow to order the coffin to be cremated, since the code couldn't have thieves getting away with their loot, a paltry $5 million. This accident cleared them on moral terms. Unbound by such castigating oversight, the remake's screenwriter Ted Griffin delivered a story that, according to scholar Aaron Baker, changed to reflect the growing wealth inequality in America. If the original was about veterans reasserting themselves in an ever more complex post war environment, Soderbergh's remake presented a yarn about the have nots pulling one over on the ultra rich. Since his meteoric debut, Sex, Lies, and Videotape earned the Palme d'Or at the 1989 Cannes Film Festival, Soderbergh's career has been eclectic and prolific. Critics and scholars have struggled to define Soderbergh as a singular author, while most cannot deny that his body of work is that of a talented and controlled filmmaker. Following his impressive debut, Soderbergh's career wavered with a string of commercial disappointments. Kafka, 1991, King of the Hill, 1993, The Underneath, 1995, Grey's Anatomy, 1996, and Schizopolis, 1996. Then, with so many unfairly dismissed films to his name, Soderbergh took a studio job directing Out of Sight, 1998, for Universal. The film jumped on the post Tarantino bandwagon in Hollywood that led to several adaptations of Elmore Leonard texts into crime pictures in the 1990s and beyond, including Get Shorty 1995, Jackie Brown 1997, Touch 1997, The Big Bounce 2004, and Be Cool 2005. But Out of Sight also marked the first collaboration of six between Soderbergh and George Clooney, which helped ground the actor's flailing career, making him one of the last true movie stars. Their commercial success together on Ocean's 11 and its sequels ensured that their later, less accessible projects would receive funding and creative license. But Ocean's 11 is more than a one for them project in the long standing filmmaker equation of one for them, one for me. The film contains a sly message under its surface level glamour and cool as a cucumber scenario. Curiously, Ocean's 11 also marks the third of four remakes in 7 years for Soderbergh. It was preceded by the director's modernization of 1949's Criss Cross, starring Burt Lancaster, with his 1995 disappointment, The Underneath, headlined by Peter Gallagher. Soderbergh went on to greater acclaim with his film based on Traffic, the BBC miniseries from 1990, which aired on PBS in the United States. The resulting film, renamed Traffic 2000, earned Soderbergh an Oscar for Best Director. He was also nominated for Erin Brockovich that year, and his one-two punch of commercial and critical hits ensured his creative freedom in the ensuing years. Later in 2002, Soderbergh remade an Andrei Tarkovsky masterpiece with Solaris 2002, a science fiction box office flop that remains one of the director's best. But his remake of 1960's Ocean's 11 marked the director's most unabashed embrace of mainstream movie making yet. With its cast of Hollywood A-listers and up-and-comers and a budget of $85 million, his biggest yet, the production also significantly reconsidered the moralistic original. The film unfolds against the backdrop of aggressive corporatization in Las Vegas. Andy Garcia plays Terry Benedict, who operates three luxury hotel casinos, the Bellagio, the MGM Grand, and the Mirage, with meticulous, possessive attention to every detail. Based on the real life developer Steve Wynn, Benedict is tearing down the old Las Vegas, once known as Sin City, and plans to diversify with broad appeal tourism, upscale restaurants, sporting events, entertainment, and even a curated art museum. Despite his seemingly varied interests, Benedict signifies the rampant corporate identities dominating American business. Note the subplot involving Benedict buying out Xanadu from its previous owner, the old school Reuben, Elliot Gould. The loss, followed by his hotel's demolition, motivates Reuben to finance Danny Ocean's scheme and get revenge on Benedict. After all, Benedict cares about nothing except having control, making money from his investments and perhaps his golf game. This is clear when his museum curator girlfriend, Tess, Julia Roberts, asks whether he likes the Picasso hanging on his museum wall. I like that you like it. He deflects. avoiding any discussion that might reveal he has no eye for art. Andrew Deward and Colin Tate described the film's conflict as taking on the indifferent forces of excessive capitalism, with the little guys triumphing in the face of overwhelming odds against a soulless corporate embodiment like Benedict, who's armed with an ostensibly infinite bankroll. The titular den of thieves doesn't seem so bad. Indeed, before meeting Benedict, we meet the newly paroled Daniel Ocean, who just completed a 4-year stint in prison. While away, his former wife, Tess, left him for Benedict. Once released, Danny assembles his crew, each with a specific skill needed for their heist of the least accessible vault ever designed. He promises them a $165 million take divided equally. But while Danny was away, his cohorts have been slumming in menial cons and subpar work, framing the characters as underdogs from various locations around the country. Frank Bernie Mac has been dealing cards at a sleazy Atlantic City casino. Brad Pitt's ever-eating Rusty, who consumes a fruit cup, nachos, shrimp cocktail, etc., teaches dopey TV celebrities to play poker. The Mormon twins, Casey Affleck, Scott Kahn, spend their time in Utah, immersed in petty brotherly competition. The nervous Techie Livingston, Eddie Jamison, helps with police wiretaps. Demolition Man, Basher, Don Cheadle, works with a crew of not-so-proper villains on a doomed heist. And experienced conman Saul, Carl Reiner, has since retired. Danny also enlists new faces with Yan Chin Xiaobo, a Cirque du Soleil acrobat, and the son of a former colleague, the young pickpocket Linus, Matt Damon. Structurally, Ocean's 11 proves engaging because Soderbergh allows Griffin's script to carefully disperse details about the heist without revealing its secrets. Part of the joy is that though Griffin was careful enough to write nearly his entire film around the planning of a theft, he leaves the viewer clueless about how it will be carried out until it's underway. As a result, the viewer feels like both part of the plan and a spectator of it, creating a sense that we're on the 11th side even if we don't know what will happen next. Here's what we do know. The robbery will take place in 2 weeks, requiring the crew to overcome a series of challenges. They must get into the casino cages, overcome fingerprint scanners, avoid motion detectors, go unnoticed by guards with Uzis, penetrate an impenetrable vault, and never appear on the omnipresent cameras. The team builds a replica of the vault, snatches an EMP emitter, buys several unmarked vans, and, as Soderbergh's camera conspicuously underlines, uses a pine scented air freshener, later revealed to be hanging in their 4SWAT van. But as to how these items are used, who knows? We will find out later. In the meantime, there are worries about Saul's health, intertextually emphasized by how Richard Conte's character dies of a heart attack in the original. Linus' greenness and ability to perform under pressure cause an injury to Yen's hand, which could impact his acrobatics in the vault. But most pressing are Danny's personal motivations for the heist. Besides the implication of taking down the super rich. What's at stake is a classical conflict. Danny's masculine identity, which he will restore by reclaiming Tess and asserting his superior intelligence over Benedict with the casino robbery. Rusty isn't pleased to discover this truth. As he points out, Tess doesn't split 11 ways. But if all goes according to plan, Benedict will lose his money and Tess. Does Tess even want that though? Upon seeing Danny again for the first time in 4 years, she appears angry about her abandonment and declares her commitment to Benedict. The scene finds Danny meeting Tess before her scheduled dinner with Benedict. After Benedict arrives, Soderbergh frames Danny, who stands between the seated Benedict and Tess. Danny engages Benedict in polite conversation, all the while touching his wedding ring, a detail Tess notices, along with his restrained, affectionate body language and smiles in her direction. This terrifically acted scene establishes the emotional stakes for Danny. Although Tess later tells Danny, "You won't win me back," her relationship with the Benedict suggests that she's one of his many possessions, and she knows the relationship is hollow. Only a flashback to Danny saying goodbye to Tess hints that she still has feelings for him. Danny gives her one last hug, and the way she closes her eyes says it all. In the end, Danny's ultimate redemption and victory come not when the viewer realizes that his crew got away with the money, but when Tess races toward him at the end, as police prepare to take him away, and she shouts, "That's my husband," just as the film keeps the audience guessing what will happen next during the heist. Soderbergh leaves much unsaid for his characters, a crucial aspect of their coolness. This is apparent in the first scene when a parole board asks Danny, "What do you think you would do if you were released?" The next shot rests on Danny's face. He thinks about how to respond and doesn't reply. But whatever he said convinces them because he is soon to be discharged and leave prison. A similar scene finds Danny and Rusty assembling the crew with 10 down. "You think we need one more?" Danny asks. Rusty, resting his head on the bar, does not respond. "You think we need one more?" Danny affirms. "All right, we'll get one more." Similarly, when Saul tells Danny and Rusty, "Look, we all go way back, and I owe you from the thing with the guy in the place, and I'll never forget it." He speaks with a metonymic ambiguity that doesn't require specifics. Soderbergh's sense of cool in Ocean's 11 stems from his ability to communicate without words or exposition, all while guarding the particulars of the heist and showing that his characters are in control. Even when Danny seems to have lost control, getting himself caught by Benedict's security right before the heist is part of Danny's master plan. While some unspoken moments are played for humor, others reflect Soderbergh's attempt to access cool by removing clunky exposition and keeping the audience at a distance. Danny's crew doesn't always need to speak to each other to communicate, and only by the end, when their heist comes together, does the viewer feel included in their unspoken code. a detail that makes rewatches so rewarding. Though many Hollywood movies before Ocean's 11 had represented Las Vegas as a place operated by mobsters and populated by criminals who enforce their power with bloody violence and use the surrounding desert to bury their bodies. In films such as The Godfather 1972, Bugsy 1991, Casino 1995, and Hard 8 1996, Soderbergh's film eschews violence. Rather, there is only the promise of it, and Garcia's performance leaves the viewer with a palpable sense of danger, recalling the humorless austerity of a caricatured 1940s gangster, the kind where he gives the phone a long look before hanging up. After the heist, Benedict talks to Rusty over the phone and delivers a promise of retribution. Run and hide. If you should be picked up buying a $100 zero sports car in Newport Beach, I'm going to be supremely disappointed because I want my people to find you, and when they do, rest assured, we are not going to hand you over to the police. Aside from implanting a sense of dread with a character more interested in a boxing match than a Picasso, the line further underscores Benedict's association with the aforementioned Wynne, whose daughter was kidnapped in 1994. The specific references allude to the Wynne kidnappers who were caught in Newport Beach while trying to buy a Ferrari with his cash. But Danny and his team remain non-violent, and Soderbergh seems to admire them for that. Soderbergh has never been a filmmaker interested in depicting violence on the screen, and Ocean's 11 involves characters smart enough to avoid shootouts and real guns. This is essential in a heist movie where protagonists who resort to violence may alienate the audience. So, when they carry out their robbery, it's not a smash and grab job, as Linus suggests in a quip lost on the room, nor does it resemble the three most successful casino robberies in history, as described by Rubin, each propelled and resolved with sharp, unthinking, violent acts, including a scene of guards who stop an unarmed 80s thief by shooting him in the back. Rather, Soderbergh delivers an alternative to the standard Hollywood template of resolving conflict with violence, and the film associates violence with the Las Vegas establishment, the Terry Benedicts, who deploy violence in hostile casino takeovers and backroom beatings. Griffin admitted in his commentary on the Blu-ray, I'm not a big fan of shooting guns. A curious remark for the writer of the cannibal horror comedy Ravenous 1999. But no matter. As for Soderbergh, although exceptions do occur in the director's career, such as 1999's The Limey, his Ocean's films value characters who restore order to power dynamics by relying on their wits and creativity, while characters who would resort to violence and intimidation are seen with a critical eye. Much of what makes Ocean's 11 such a pleasure is the feeling that we're part of Danny's crew but also part of the cast. There's a vicarious sense that everyone is having fun making this movie, wearing fine clothes, staying in swanky Las Vegas hotel rooms, and enjoying the many luxuries the city has to offer. Before the film's release, the production led to behind the scenes entertainment news stories about the actors working for scale to keep costs down, but then spending their off hours enjoying the Vegas nightlife. Clooney was said to have blown his salary on gambling and drinks, including a keg of Guinness installed in his hotel room. The casual atmosphere reported from the set enriches the on camera result, enhancing the chemistry among performers who clearly enjoy each other's company. The on screen wisecracks seem to be delivered with a half smile, keeping the mood light and airy, a necessary component that helps gloss over some confusing details in the otherwise ludicrous plot. Take when the team's gophers, the Mormon brothers, leave their fake hotel uniforms in the elevator after a costume swap to security garb. Won't someone find the discarded uniforms and ask questions? In any case, the film marked the first project developed by Section 8, the production company founded by Soderbergh and Clooney in 2000. Started in the spirit of independent and artist driven mainstream cinema that defined the late 1990s, Section 8 sought to champion daring filmmakers such as Christopher Nolan, Insomnia 2002, Todd Haynes, Far From Heaven 2002, and Richard Linklater, A Scanner Darkly 2006. Ocean's 11 was intended to start the company with a hit, enlisting an all-star cast who agreed to work for reduced salaries. Clooney and Soderbergh had no pretensions about their film status as a commercial enterprise. The actor told The Guardian, entertainment's a good thing, and I don't think it's something to be ashamed of. Sure enough, the film would earn over $450 million worldwide, along with mostly positive reviews and enthusiasm from moviegoers. Years later, after several flops at Section 8, Ocean's 11 and its two sequels would be some of its only significant earners. The company resolved to shut down, with Soderbergh more invested in directing than becoming a name brand producer in the vein of Steven Spielberg in the 1980s. Shooting under his usual cinematographer pseudonym, Peter Andrews, the director achieves authenticity with real Las Vegas locations. His combination of a genuine setting and stylistic control, which blends realism with the director's signature low key visual polish, also lends Ocean's 11 an element of relaxed coolness. Elsewhere, David Holmes' alternately jazzy and funky music gives the film a casual, easygoing tone, echoing his similarly groovy scores in many other Soderbergh features, including several heist stories, Out of Sight, Joe, and Anthony Russo's Welcome to Collinwood 2002, which Soderbergh produced under Section 8. The two Ocean sequels in 2004 and 2007, Logan Lucky 2017, the Southern Fried version of Oceans, and No Sudden Move 2021, where a heist exposes corruption in the auto industry. But Holmes' slick crime movie music breaks after the heist when Claire de Lune by Claude Debussy plays while Tess runs across the casino to reunite with Danny, and the 10 remaining thieves assemble at the iconic Bellagio fountain. The gentle music may break the cool mood, but it reimposes the themes of solidarity, camaraderie, and personal codes against Benedict's moneyed interests. After Soderbergh's camera pans across the faces of Ocean's crew, who improvise their final moments together in this scene, Debussy's music highlights the surprising yet effortlessly established bonds established among these characters and the viewer. Despite starting one of the director's two mainstream trilogies next to the Magic Mike series, and easily his most commercially successful picture to date, Ocean's 11 aligns with Soderbergh's long-standing interest in packaging institutional critiques into genre entertainment. These include harsh appraisals of the government's response to drugs, traffic, environmental oversight, Erin Brockovich, Big Con, The Informant 2009, Disease Prevention and Control, Contagion 2011, The Business of Mental Health Side Effects 2013, Unsane 2018, Tax Evasion by the Wealthy, The Laundromat 2019, and The Auto Industry No Sudden Move. Though made for tens of millions and starring a rather stunning cast, Soderbergh and Griffin somehow make the production feel modest, if not almost indie, in its ambition to undermine the multinational mindset that dominates world economics. And so, just like its characters, the film is shimmering fun and subversive, defying the corporate interest of Benedict and Hollywood that, in one way or another, worship money above all else. With unchartable cool and control, Danny and company steal that money, deliver a blow to the establishment, and remain faithful to their code and each other. Their brand of friendship and Danny's ultimate love driven goal turned them into cathartic heroes in an age still dominated by corporate interests. Note: this essay was originally suggested and posted to Patreon on June 7, 2023. Bibliography: Andrew Jeff interview, Steven Soderbergh and George Clooney. The Guardian, 17th February 2003. https://www.guardian.com. Film 2003. 17 Parvez, George Clooney. Access the 30th May 2023. Baker, Aaron. Steven Soderbergh. Contemporary Film Directors. University of Illinois Press, 2011. Commentary by director Steven Soderbergh and screenwriter Ted Griffin. Ocean's 11, Warner Bros. Entertainment Inc., 2007. Blu-ray, Deward, Andrew and R. Colin Tate. The Cinema of Steven Soderbergh. Indie Sex, Corporate Lies, and Digital Videotape. Wallflower Press, 2013. Gallagher, Mark. Another Steven Soderbergh experience. Authorship and Contemporary Hollywood. University of Texas Press, 2013. Kaufman, Anthony. Steven Soderbergh interviews. Jackson University Press, 2002. Palmer, R. Barton, and Stephen M. Sanders. The Philosophy of Steven Soderbergh. The University Press of Kentucky, 2011. Director castrated, Ron Team 116 Min. Release date: thank you for supporting independent film. criticism. If the work on DFR has added something meaningful to your love of movies, please consider supporting it. Here are a few ways to show your support. Make a one time donation. Join DFR's Patreon for access to exclusive writing or show your support in other ways. Your contribution helps keep this site running independently. However, you choose to support the site, please know that it's appreciated. Thank you for reading and for making this work possible. Brian Eggert, critic, founder, Deep Focus Review number 5. While rebooting any beloved classic film is bound to generate a healthy amount of skepticism, Steven Soderbergh's 2001 remake of Ocean's 11 is one of the rare instances in which the remake surpassed the original. While the 1960 caper film of the same name was simply a means of satisfying the egos of Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and the other members of the Rat Pack, Soderbergh infused his version with an emotionally compelling story, inventive heist sequences, and a cheeky sense of humor. Ocean's 11 became a modern classic that cemented George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Matt Damon as the definitive movie stars of their generation. While it's now considered one of the most successful crowd pleasers of its era, Ocean's 11 had to reshoot its original ending due to concerns about parallels to the 9/11 attacks. Why Ocean's 11 needed to change its ending. Ocean's 11 follows the career criminal Danny Ocean Clooney, who is released from prison and forced to bridge a new path forward for himself. Despite his attempt to go straight and avoid the irresponsible behavior that landed him in prison in the first place, Danny is convinced to put together a heist crew with his old friend Rusty Ryan Pitt. They are recruited by the casino owner Ruben Tishkoff, Elliot Gould, to rob a series of casinos owned by the ruthless businessman Terry Benedict, Andy Garcia. Ocean's 11's climax rests on the successful completion of a daring heist as Benedict's advanced security measures force Danny's team to take extreme measures to avoid detection. While there's pressure on Danny to complete the heist so that he can prove himself as a leader, it's revealed that he has more personal motivations for wanting to rob Benedict. Danny's real goal is to reunite with his ex wife, Tess, Julia Roberts, who is now in a romantic relationship with Benedict. By embarrassing Benedict and stealing his fortune, Danny can prove to Tess that her new boyfriend's motivations are purely selfish. This emotional story arc is what makes Ocean's 11 such a calming, endearing modern classic. The robbery itself is consequential and only serves as a means to showcase the unique set of skills that Danny's team has. The opportunity to see Tess again is his primary motivation. He actually cares very little about the financial benefits of completing the mission. While the film concluded on a positive note, Ocean's 11's now iconic ending was the result of a last minute reshoot. Danny and his team needed to create a distraction to draw a SWAT team to a vault filled with cash. This diverts the attention away from the real scheme to rob Benedict. Originally, the film concluded with the New York hotel and casino being destroyed by explosives. However, concerns began to arise when it was discovered that the casino's destruction looked too similar to the recent attacks on the World Trade Center. The location was changed in reshoots to a fictional hotel called the Xanadu. Although CG was able to cover up any similarities to New York hotel and casino, the original ending can be seen on the film's DVD making of features, which were completed months before the film's theatrical release in December of 2001. Why Ocean's 11 changed Danny for the better. While the critical change to the final heist sequence was necessary in order to avoid evoking parallels to domestic terrorism, the reshot ending of Ocean's 11 emphasizes why Danny is a great hero. Had the scene involved the obliteration of a real location, it may have grounded the film too firmly in reality and indicated that Danny was uncaring about the collateral damage that he left behind. Part of the charm of the entire Oceans franchise is that the stories exist within a somewhat exaggerated version of reality, as Danny's heists require an inordinate amount of coincidences where everything goes according to plan. By destroying a completely fictional location and not a real one, Ocean's 11 creates a story where there aren't any lasting consequences for Danny's actions. In addition to improving the franchise's world building, the new ending allows Ocean's 11 to keep its focus on the conflict between Danny and Benedict. It's established that Benedict is a powerful figure within the Las Vegas casino industry and controls many established locations like the Xanadu. By adding information about the properties that are under Benedict's control, the film is able to make Garcia's great villainous performance even more intimidating. It turns Danny into an underdog who has everything stacked against him. Additionally, diverting attention away from the showdown in Las Vegas to focus on an entirely different location would have been a determinant to the film's pacing that put too much emphasis on spectacle. With the new ending, the film's climax focuses on the satisfaction that Danny feels about completing the heist, emphasizing the importance of each member of his team. Ocean's 11 inspired a great franchise given the proximity of its release to the 9/11 attacks. Ocean's 11 was the perfect piece of escapism that the cinematic marketplace needed. The film's success prompted the creation of the unique Oceans franchise, a series that managed to upend expectations with each subsequent installment. Instead of simply reiterating the first film, the 2004 sequel Ocean's 12 took the series in a self aware direction by inverting the intent of Danny's mission. Similarly, the underrated 2007 sequel Ocean's 13 added more comedy to the franchise by forcing Benedict to join Danny's team, while the 2018 spin off film Ocean's 8 failed to capture the same unique tone of Soderbergh's installments. The Oceans franchise is set to continue with a new reboot. Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie are set to star in a new installment from Austin Powers director Jay Roach that begins filming soon. While Ocean's 11 has certainly served as inspiration for many great heist films, any film that claims to be part of the same franchise will undoubtedly be faced with sizable expectations based on the success that preceded it. Ocean's 11 is available to watch on Hulu in the US. Number 6. Have you ever dreamed of traveling to destinations seen in your favorite movies and TV shows? Many filming locations have become pilgrimage sites for fans. In fact, 1 in 4 travelers polled in Expedia's 2024 Unpack Travel Trend report stated that screen inspirations influenced their travel decisions more than social media and podcasts. Among those jet setters is influencer Lindsay Silberman, who partnered with Variety and Hotels home to plan a trip to the Bellagio Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas after rewatching Ocean's 11. It was fun to be able to walk through their hotel and immediately spot the locations where all of the iconic scenes took place, Silberman says. I also found myself thinking about all the intricacies and logistics required to shoot a major film at the Bellagio. Did they have to shut down the entire property and for how long? Did any of the staff get hired as extras? A remake of the 1960 Rat Pack film of the same name, the 2001 Steven Soderbergh film was granted permission to use parts of the Bellagio for the production, including the casino floor, conservatory, and fountains to capture the authentic look and feel of the Sin City setting where Danny Ocean and his 10 accomplices attempt to rob casino owner Terry Benedict. Ocean's 11 was among the first motion pictures to film at a functioning hotel and casino, successfully integrating Hollywood fantasy with the real high stakes atmosphere and excitement of Vegas. The making of the film alone attracted fans to the Bellagio, since the all star cast and crew also lived there while working. Known for her expertise in the travel, beauty, and fashion spaces, Silberman has garnered a large following online and on social media. In 2020, she launched Hotel Lobby Candle, a line of luxury candles inspired by her love of fancy hotel lobbies. So, of course, the Bellagio's hotel lobby bar was one of her must visit spots. My favorite part was having a dirty martini the size of my head at the hotel lobby bar and then eating shrimp cocktail out of a martini glass. Silman says of recreating the Rusty Ryan shrimp cocktail scene. Though Ocean's Heist crew successfully ended up with millions of dollars, Silberman and her husband Matt had less luck in real life. I sat down at a blackjack table with a group of old gents from Michigan, walked away after winning $300, and then proceeded to lose it all 30 seconds later in a slot machine. She recalls of her quintessential Vegas experience. They capped off their night at the fountains of Bellagio, which serves as the heist crew's respite after the job. The depiction of the Bellagio's atmosphere still inspires travelers like Lindsay and Matt to experience the location firsthand and immerse themselves in the world of Ocean's 11. Still today, memorable Vegas moments from the film capture the imaginations of audiences and sparks interest from tourists. Honestly, the energy of Las Vegas in general, specifically the Bellagio, is pretty unmatched. Cher Silverman, who splits her time between New York City and Miami. My husband and I kept saying there's no other place in the world quite like it. Silberman, who calls herself a lifelong hotel lover, will be releasing new scents and products in early 2024. My brand Hotel Lobby Candle is perfect for anyone who craves the luxury hotel experience in the comfort of their own home, she says. Our scents are all inspired by five-star destinations around the world. Variety and Hotels. Com launched the new Hotels on Screen video series to spotlight fictional worlds where real life hotels were used as locations and sets. Watch the Ocean's 11 episode from the Hotels on Screen series here. For more information on how to stay at the real life properties featured in Hotels on Screen, visit this link. Number 7, Rihanna and Anne Hathaway are in negotiation to join Ocean's 8, the all-female reboot of Ocean's 11. Sandra Bullock, Kate Blanchett, Helena Bonham Carter, and Mindy Kaling, who had previously been linked to the Warner Bros. And Village Roadshow co-production, are leading the ensemble. Nora Lum, better known by her rap name Aquafina, has also boarded the spin-off from director Gary Ross, The Hunger Games. The film, led by Bullock, will follow a similar path to the George Clooney's Terror, about a group of thieves and cons who try to pull off a major heist. Ross told Slash Film in June that the pick continues the Ocean's 11 trilogy, which also starred Brad Pitt and Matt Damon. It's a pretty similar tone. Steven Soderbergh and I are incredibly close friends, and we would not have done this if we weren't. I don't think he would wanted anyone to do it if we weren't, he said. This is very much an extension and a continuation. Ocean's 11 director Soderbergh and Ross will produce, with Ross and Olivia Milch penning the script. Susan Akins is executive producing, while Greg Silverman and Jesse Ehrman are overseeing the film for the studio. Production is scheduled to begin in October in New York. Rihanna can be seen next in the Luc Besson-helmed Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. She is repped by WME. Deadline Hollywood first reported the news. Number 8, I am going to come right out of the gate and ask this question: is Ocean's 11 the coolest movie ever made? Obviously, the word cool is a subjective thing. What is cool to me probably won't be cool to you, and vice versa. However, when we contextually apply the word to talk about the people in the movie, what they look like, what they wear, how they act, how they talk, the aesthetic choices of the movie, the sounds, the script, and so on, then I really do find it hard to think of a movie that is cooler.